Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Danielle Coe. I'm the CEO and founder of Black Women in Clinical Research. Tonight, we are going to talk about getting to know Greenphire. We have different leaders at Greenphire that are going to share their knowledge. I've had the pleasure of having a very nice relationship with Joe and Amy. Like we talk all the time, and I'm very grateful for the connection that we have made. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you, Danielle. So hi, everyone, and thank you, Black Women in Clinical Research and Danielle for setting this up. My name is Joe Gough. I'm a Senior Solutions Specialist with Greenphire for our medical centers and our university accounts in the United States and globally. And I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Denean Allen and Jess D'Angelo. Their mics are open. I'm gonna have Denean introduce herself as well, and then followed by Jess.
Hi everyone, my name is Denean Allen. I'm a ClinCard implementation team lead, and I'm also the manager that is over the project managers of sites and universities.
And Jess?
Yep. Hi everyone, my name is Jessica D'Angelo. I go by Jess, and I'm a sales engineer here at Greenphire. So I help and support our commercial team with any of our technical solutions. So our solutions that we're going to walk through today, but any technical questions that come up as well. So I'm here to really be their support and anchor when it comes to those details.
Okay, great. Okay, so just to elaborate a little bit, give you some further brief background about the presentation today. So we're going to share 16 slides that high-level overview of our company, but just also the additional background with when we met Danielle back in 2020 was through the pandemic, as we were participating in an online White House conference with historically Black colleges and universities, and that's when I met Danielle. We've been collaborating ever since, and I've told Danielle this publicly. In my career, in 30 years in clinical research, I've worked with a lot of physicians all over the country, clinical researchers, clinical research staff, and what Danielle is doing and what you all are doing with your Black Women in Clinical Research network, with the Black Men in Clinical Research, and now the Latinos in Clinical Research group is making such a profound impact on the industry. And so it's so awesome to be a part of that energy and this opportunity today. So it's an honor to present to this audience today and to be part of the exciting things that your network is doing. And lastly, I'll just quickly mention that both myself and Amy Sitnick, our Director of Marketing from Greenphire, are also serving as mentors to two of your members. So that's been another great opportunity as well. Okay, so jumping into the agenda, we're going to be speaking about getting to know Greenphire, the why behind Greenphire, and at a high level, some of our products, our solutions that we provide. And just a high level overview, Greenphire is the international leader in financial technology automation that supports clinical research. And the company has been in business for approximately 13 years. The headquarters is in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, in the suburb of King of Prussia. We also now have an office in the UK. We have a lot of activity expanding globally. With respect to the specific products we'll be speaking about today, number one is the ClinCard, which was our base product for which the company was founded. It's a reloadable Visa debit card that is provided to the research participants for payment for their study visits, as well as out-of-pocket reimbursement expenses for travel and meals and so forth. A second product we'll be talking about is called Connex. That's a product that's used by big pharma and CROs to manage and standardize and streamline participant travel logistics when they have to travel internationally or great distances to reach a clinical research site. The third product is called eClinicalGPS, Global Payment System. Again, that's used by big pharma and CROs to standardize and harmonize the site invoicing mechanics between big pharma, CROs, and the sites with all the invoicing that's necessary within the clinical trials and streamlining and automating that process. And lastly, our newest product is called Envisix. It's a budget negotiation web-based interface tool platform designed to expedite the process of coming to agreement with study budgets between sponsors and CROs, and it pulls in fair market value data for the costs, for benchmark costs of various procedures and so forth from our various clinical trial sponsors and sites. So we can advance to the next slide. And so Greenphire as a company has evolved as a company that understands the complexities of the fragmentation of the clinical trial financial life cycle that's impacting, as shown here, sponsors, CRO sites, and even the participants. We've specifically, again, focused on streamlining administrative tasks, all those that I've mentioned with budget development, paying research participants digitally through the ClinCard and immediately for their study visits and their out-of-pocket expenses, doing all the things related to facilitating the travel logistics to get participants to the sites so that they can participate in important therapeutic opportunities. And we really want to make it a highly efficient process for both the participants and the study staff, and for the study staff so they can really focus on the protocol and the studies rather than a lot of administrative tasks. So we can skip to the next slide, Jess, and I think pass this one over to Denean. You want to take this one?
Sure.
Okay, sure.
So our vision for standards is to regulate global payment and automate the workflow in clinical trials. Our vision is to apply our unique experience and technology to deliver a solution that enables a greater control, transparency, and efficiency for all stakeholders. When it comes to our values, we are all in. It's one of the things that we say a lot around our entire company. We're all in as a team for a purpose, solving problems. And when we say we're all in, it just means that we're going to go above and beyond for all of our clients, as well as the participants that are using our product. Sorry about that. As a team, we're an extension of our clients and our partners, and we collaborate. We collaborate internally as well as externally with our clients so that we can offer all that we have and give them the best support as possible. For a purpose, we remove the barriers for barriers regarding participants, patients, as well as any barriers that come up with the administration process that Joe had mentioned. We remove that from our sites as well as anyone that is using our products so that they have a clean, streamlined approach to clinical trials when it comes in using our products. And we also solve problems. We want to eliminate any of the major challenges that drains resources from the sites and the patients and our sponsors that use our system. And we solve problems internally as working as a team to come up with the best solution and moving forward to do so.
I just want to quickly add that we really do look to celebrate each one of these values internally within each of our departments. It's really neat to watch all of our departments collaborate on all of these items as well. So while, it's noted as all in and as a team for a purpose in solving problems, we have t-shirts that even say that on them because we really do drive it home that we want to make sure that we are celebrating and ensuring that we are also, we value each one another when it comes to each one of these values. All right, I'm going to move us to the next slide.
Okay. So this is a visual diagram, beginning at 12 o'clock, talking about the support that we provide with our products, the study planning, the beginning of a study, and pulling in that fair market value data to help the sites and sponsors and CROs develop their budgets, going around clockwise, the budget negotiation and site contracting process for our tools, hoping to expedite that and have more efficient startup times, the global invoicing and payments, the travel logistics, the participant reimbursement. We now have a virtual card now, so the remote trials, the ability to disseminate a ClinCard digitally through email has been helpful throughout the pandemic for our clients to be able to provide that technology to reimburse the participants. And then the out-of-the-box financial reports that we have in the back end of our system to help the sites with and sponsors with their reconciliation activities. So all in all, it's sort of an end-to-end holistic approach to understanding all those different aspects of financial management within the continuum of a clinical trial. So we could advance to the next slide, Jess. So this is our products listed kind of in a linear way, the ClinCard, a better way to pay participants through the ClinCard with that digital mechanism, the Connex, the elimination of having the clinical research staff making travel logistics on behalf of the participants. Instead, we are able to outsource that and have that Connex functionality. Additionally, the budgeting tool, optimizing that budgeting development and enhancing study startup times. And again, throughout the trial, having technology that really supports the site payment, invoicing, and accounting mechanisms. And Jess.
Yep. So here, just jumping in, this is our ClinCard and Connex experience. So the green dots that you're seeing on the global map here are going to show where we have our capabilities when it comes at a country level for ClinCard itself. So may that be a physical reloadable debit card, the ClinCard, or the virtual card being in the United States specifically currently. So with that, the green dots are going to be the Connex pieces. So you'll see that some of the green and purple dots don't even overlap. So where we aren't able to execute and be able to provide payment to a participant, we're still able to provide that Connex service where we're able to go ahead and arrange travel and those logistics that come into play with getting a participant to a site for the research that they're taking part in. So with that, just quickly noting on the screen, 151,000 itineraries booked, itineraries being that end-to-end, I got in my taxi, I went to the airport, got on my flight, went to the hotel after, and now I get to go to my first visit at my site. So that itinerary being that full end-to-end of your complete trip. 12.3 million participant payments. So really just driving home, we're really a leader in this space when it comes to our participant payments with ClinCard. And then paid to participants over, we're almost there at that 1 billion mark. So we're getting there, but really just helping to ensure that we're supporting not just the participants, but also sponsors, CROs, sites, and universities with ensuring that they have the support they need to go ahead and provide that to their participants as well. So with that is eClinicalGPS. So that's that piece, our solution that really supports sponsors and CROs paying their sites, paying them accurately on time. And so this is where we are globally and where our experience is as well. So there's a lot of stats on this slide as well, but more than 70 countries where we facilitate payments. We've got more than 820 studies configured in our portal now. We've facilitated over 1.9 billion site payments. And it's really just to speak volume, how many payees we have in our system, 38,000 payees. So that's 38 unique sites that we've gone ahead and ensured that they've been paid accurately and on time by their sponsor or their CRO to ensure that they can keep performing that research for their participants. Right, so I'm going to jump into the next set. Joe, this is kicking it over to you.
Yeah, so we're going to drill down a little further, more specifically about what the products do and how they function and what they look like a little bit here. So looking under the hood, so to speak. So again, the ClinCard is the Visa reloadable debit card. It's used by sponsor CROs and sites, and it's maintained within the web portal there shown on the right, where you can structurally and operationally establish with your study staff the architecture for the milestone payments within the protocol. So you can architect the payments that correspond to the protocol with respect to the number of payments in a specific study, specifying and naming what the specific study visit was for, what procedure it was for, what task it was for, as well as specifying what the amount of that individual study visit payment was for. And it's highly customizable. And in that process, that's when you have the ability to distribute, the study coordinators have the ability to distribute the physical card or the virtual card. Setting up this payment architecture is actually something that Denean does and helps create that infrastructure for our sites. She helps to create that control for the site and even the access over user access, logins to the system. She helps to architect some of the studies. She helps to establish and architect the various roles that certain administrators of the system will have, and others will have with respect to study coordinators, financial analysts with respect to reports that they need, that only they should be able to see. And so she helps architect that entire system for our sites, for example, so that they can get set up with their studies and make those payments. So at the end of the day, rather than issuing checks and cash and gift cards, instead, our clients are substituting a fully digital payment solution that reduces the administrative tasks and headaches, improves the patient engagement because their participants are being paid immediately. By the time they walk outside of their study visit, they can already have their money on their card. There are those 12 back-end automated reports that really help with the reconciliation, payments by study, payments by participant, the annual 1099 report for IRS compliance. And there's other reports that also provide visibility to the sites and our clients, our sponsors and CROs with respect to how many ClinCards are in circulation, how many have been distributed, and data and transparency into how many users are active in the system, so that can be managed as well. We can switch to the next slide, Jess. Just to highlight some of those key benefits again, immediate payments. And I should also mention that the participants have the ability to opt in to receive a text or email notification for when the funds are loaded to the card. So that's helpful. They know that the funds have been uploaded when they receive that text message. And unlike a check and gift cards especially, if the ClinCard is lost, we can just replace the ClinCard, but the money is retained in the balance of the participants, not lost. Unlike a $100 gift card, if they lose the gift card, that money is gone and lost. Additionally, the participants can go online and check what remaining balance they have on their card. And now I should mention that we have an app, it's shown there on the right, for our virtual and physical cards that allow two things to happen. Number one, the participants, if they opt to, they could interface with that app and provide a direct deposit to their personal bank account with the monies from the card. They can go that pathway. Or secondly, they can link through the app to a smart wallet, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. And then again, at the participant level, the study coordinators have the ability to assign the participant a physical card or virtual card, whichever they prefer, again, at the participant level. And additionally, those text and email reminders that the participants could opt into also allow study coordinators within our portal to create study visit reminders for their participants, which will send a reminder at 72 and 24 hours prior to an upcoming study visit. So that's helpful with retention and so forth, and having fewer missed visits as well. So this slide shows a picture of the app and the ClinCard. You can see the security chip on the ClinCard, and again, it's a debit card. And the funds, besides the mentions, the funds can be used besides the ways I just mentioned. Additionally, with online shopping, they can be used for point of sale, for example, at a grocery store or a gas station. And then you can also receive cash back, often at those locations, similar to a typical debit card. Also, within any Visa affiliated bank, if the participant has a government ID, they don't need to be banked there. They can go up to the teller and retain funds off of the card in that manner, as well as being able to withdraw the funds from an ATM as well. So I'll importantly close and add that we've developed a lot of patient-facing materials. Jess mentioned our international scope. So for example, we now have patient-facing materials written entirely in Spanish, as well as over 20 other languages. So that's important as well, because I know you guys have a global network and we're a global company, so I just wanted to make you aware of that as well. Okay, Jess, thank you.
Yeah, great, Joe. All right, so on to our next solution. So just driving us through the set here is Connex. So this solution is most commonly tied and married to the ClinCard solution. They're most commonly kind of brought together where you don't want to leave any pieces out. So even though you may have travel covered through Connex and our travel network, you still want to ensure that you can provide a reimbursement onto that ClinCard. So just really keeping that in mind to ensure that you're really meeting the full scope for a participant when it comes to that patient centricity. Connex, once again, driving home, removes the barriers to participant access and retention with the most personalized clinical travel solution. We've got 18 hubs in different countries, ensuring that we're also really meeting the needs of a participant when it comes to maybe just the cultural differences when it comes to taking a train, or ensuring that we're meeting the needs when it comes to having a translator on the line. So this is designed specifically to meet the retention goals of a global clinical trial with that in-network hub of 18 countries, meeting those local logistical needs. Our full suite offers the comprehensive services around the globe, so that being especially white glove services. We have visa and passport assistance, ambulatory transportation, air, hotel spanning from a standard stay to a long-term or specialty stay, and ground covering the car service and rentals, trains, wheelchair accessible vehicles, and then additionally rideshare. So that's another piece where we have included in the United States only. Lyft is integrated into our solution itself. So your participants or anyone who may be conducting a trial won't need a Lyft app, but if you have that piece turned on, the site coordinator at the site can go ahead and arrange that back-to-back ride to go ahead and ensure that the participant got to their site successfully, or even back home or back to work. Right, move us on into eClinicalGPS. So really kind of taking that hat off of a participant point of view and putting on the hat of a site. So with eClinicalGPS, it's a software solution that automates the invoicing process. So really just ensuring that we're taking and reducing the burden of a site having to go ahead and compile an invoice and submitting it to their sponsor. It's automatically creating an invoice on behalf of the site. So they don't have to spend the entire day putting on a piece of paper what's owed to them. We're also solving the transparency issue where we're going to provide the portal that both the site and the sponsor or the CRO can log in 24/7. On that sponsor and CRO side, we're automatically doing data validation and alignment through the data stream, like the EDC or a CTMS, or data agnostic, meaning that kind of we can connect to any data source. We don't have any hard or fast rules or guides on who we can connect to or what kind of data source we can. We will go ahead and let you know what the specifications are, and we'll go ahead and understand how that can be communicated back and forth between the two vendors. We're dealing with the regulatory details, compliance, and tax pieces that come into play with different countries. We're building in approval workflows where we can set it up at a multi-level approval if it needs to go to different departments before full approval of an invoice can in fact be paid. Really, once again, minimizing that burden when it comes to a site and also when it comes to just the sponsor or CRO side. So overall, once the invoice is generated and the actual execution of the payments are fairly straightforward. While we have our banking partners set up, we can go ahead and execute payment with whatever payment method that site prefers. A paper check, ACH, IACH, a wire, SWIFT payment. So really ensuring that we're meeting the needs of that site when payment execution happens. So that's what eClinicalGPS is. We have those invoices automatically created, and where we can't automate things, we'll streamline them. So we'll go ahead and also facilitate like I've noted, those bank transfers and even the physical checks that the site still needs. So from there, there's really some other key pieces that get incorporated into eClinicalGPS's solution itself. While it is sponsor CRO facing, and we have a full suite of reporting when it comes to accruals, all the way down to reconciliation reports, but also on the site side of the house in their site facing portal, when they log in, they have all of those same details at their fingertips. The transparency is completely end-to-end. They see their invoices automatically created. They can see that data that's being pulled through and made as payable events for them. But also, we're here to ensure that we're supporting that global side of it as well. So in those Eastern European countries, we want to ensure that we're supporting all of their variable split payments that need to happen. So while they may not pay one person or one organization specifically, we want to ensure that they can still perform split payments that need to happen within their organization, within their same office against their sub-nurses or sub-Is. So just really wanting to ensure that our flexibility meets the needs of sites in different countries. Because you haven't heard me talk enough already. Envisix is our last solution to jump into. So with Envisix, it really is going to be kind of the beginning of a steady startup. So really kind of bringing us all the way to the beginning of a steady. So Envisix is an intuitive budget develop, negotiation, and approval solution integrated with eClinicalGPS platform with an automated return into the future of global investigator grants data. We've patiently waited 10 years time, collecting most recently the last 3 years of site payment actuals to be ready to build out our offering. We've built our algorithm knowing that our current fair market value data sources lack timely robust outputs reflective of true industry costing. So overall, we're here to ensure that we're supporting that fair market value piece where our competitors aren't currently supporting that. Our seamless budget through payment workflow allows sponsors to streamline the budget creation and negotiation process by providing an efficient way to create and manage study and country level budgets, establish a workflow between sponsor, CRO, and site negotiation, and secure an agreed budget, and then benefit from a direct integration into the site payment solution, eClinicalGPS. So really just ensuring that we can tie in that end-to-end for any one of our clients. And then lastly, leveraging that automated return into future of global investigator grant actuals. All right. Over to you, Denean.
Thanks. Moving from our solution set to our partnership approach, you may be wondering, how will Greenphire work for you? Through each phase, from reaching out for a demo through implementation to study close, we just want you to know that we will support you. Through each phase, we will start with our kickoff with a partnership approach, utilizing our services while meeting the needs of your workflow, and prior to study launch and completing implementation activities and training you in your sites. Next slide. Our next slide really breaks down the implementation process. We will start, like I said, with a kickoff, and then we will review the structure. From there, we will go into our startup phase, and we will gather the program requirements. We will then go into the implementation phase. In the implementation phase, we will address each of the steps that Jess went over. regarding what you would like to see for your program. From there, we would go into a user acceptance testing so that you can test the system to see if it is working appropriately for you based on the requirements that we set up when we worked with you from kickoff through implementation. Next, we would go into more of our training. We will train you as our client as well as any of the sites that need training as well. From there, we will go into our launch and just distribute the logins as well as ship any cards that need to be sent. And after the launch, we will go into our maintenance phase. And maintenance is just an ongoing, we will be there for you as your PM, as well as any onboarding that you may do with newer sites, as well as any users that step in to use our system that weren't there from the beginning. So we will also train them as well.
Okay, so kind of just to wrap it up here, that's shown there, on the right, why Greenphire. So as shown here, again, we've got this unique focus on the financial logistics and automation throughout the continuum. We have those 4 products that support eliminating the burdensome administrative tasks involved in these aspects of managing clinical trials. Big pharma sponsors have identified us as the technology of choice in the industry, and sites in the US in particular. We're approaching almost 1,000 sites in the US. So this is academic medical centers, universities, children's hospitals, health systems, VA nonprofits, foundations, on and on. And so, kind of just overall and globally, as Jess has described, we provide all that value kind of on a global basis to those various types of clients. And that's kind of why we feel that we're the leader in the industry. We continue to innovate. We have a tremendous, as was discussed, supportive culture with respect to training, with respect to education for how to use the tools, because we want to partner with you. We want to be successful in the endeavor of clinical research, and that's our why. That's why we're here. So that would be, we can flip to the next slide. So this is our last slide before any questions. If you're interested, the next step, and this is on our website, would be on that link below. You can just provide your information and request a demo if you'd like your study team to see a demonstration of any of these technologies we discussed today. You'll be able to see the in-depth screenshots and how we go into a live demonstration of how to manipulate the data and the reports that are available. And you really get an insider view of how the system is set up and managed, and the data that it provides. So that would be the action step if anyone's interested. Again, that's out on our website. So we can flip to the next slide, which would be any questions that we could have from the audience. We're happy to answer any questions. Danielle?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for the presentation. Please feel free if you have any questions. Just while we are waiting, I would say, I'll ask a question while we wait. What are some challenges that you guys have faced this year, especially with Greenphire?
I can respond somewhat. Much like many folks in the industry, just working remotely, it has its advantages, but it also has some kind of sometimes disadvantages with respect to being able to get face-to-face, working out complex problems. So, we've had to adapt in that regard. And I guess additionally, we did develop the virtual ClinCard this year, which came in to be very useful to our sites throughout the US. In fact, during the middle of the pandemic, we started receiving a lot of phone calls. Tell me about this ClinCard again. And not just the physical card, but then also the virtual card. But I guess, the pandemic has presented challenge for everyone, but our work structure clearly was changed. We worked from home like many of you all. I don't know if Jess or Denean have thoughts of the challenges.
The one challenge that sorry, Jess.
No, go ahead, Denean.
The one challenge that I did notice right away, we did, as a project manager, we would go on investigator meetings. So we would have to go away to present our product to different sites as well as vendors and things of that nature, sponsors. And those came to a screeching halt. We were not allowed to travel. So that's one thing that we did see.
Yeah, I think even just removing the those meetings really pulled away from the level of training we could provide to even anyone who may have been on site during those meetings, which, I mean, we're here to support all the time, but even just being in person to provide those trainings can be a different level of value, especially for people who may learn in a different function. So, you know, maybe not being able to learn virtually, but that in-person piece really does have, you know, that little extra magic attached to it. But I'd say one of the only challenges that I had seen was when Connex was kind of really put to the test when countries weren't allowing anyone to cross over borders. So that was a tough piece that we came into play with. So when a participant needed to go to their site that was right over the border in another country, especially in Europe when it's so easy to go to all those lovely countries, that they weren't able to do that cross, but we did end up coming through and we were able to meet a Connex driver with another Connex driver on each side of the border with the right letter, with the right signature to ensure that that participant was able to make their way to their next upcoming visit, especially with some of the treatments that are in play that they need them on that, you know, month-to-month cadence.
Another thing that we did notice, unlike a lot of companies during the pandemic, we saw a hiring increase. Our work doubled, and so the demand for more resources also doubled as well. So we continue to hire through the whole entire pandemic.
That's amazing, because I know a lot of people say they have to end up letting people go. So the fact that you guys were able to hire more people, and I guess while we're on the topic of hiring, do you guys have any openings for anyone that might be interested in Greenphire or working at Greenphire?
I have never seen the amount of diversified roles that we currently have open today. We are hiring in almost each one of our departments at completely new roles, but also roles that'll help support the members that we have on those teams already. So we are definitely hiring, and you can immediately go to our careers page on our Greenphire website to go ahead and see what they entail. And also, if you ever wanted to connect anyone who's currently working at Greenphire, I'm sure everyone on the line today would be willing to meet and have a 30-minute conversation with anyone who may have questions about a role as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if your network folks have interests, please apply. We're a growing company. It's an exciting place to work. I know you would like working at Greenphire, and the opportunities are there. So please reach out and see what's out there.
What kind of background with working at Greenphire do you need to have?
Good question. It's a toss-up, honestly. You can have a clinical trial background and you could have no clinical trial background. I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics and statistics, and I was a project manager when I first started here at Greenphire in our operations department. And I managed to move into a different department on our commercial team as a sales engineer. So I've really done a lot of different switches from a role perspective, but I also have no business doing any math during my day-to-day. So there are different pieces there. There are roles that meet an associate's degree. There are roles that meet even a leadership quality piece, IT background, any financial background as well could be a good piece for our finance team. Joe, Denean, anything to add?
I saw in the industry, when it comes to project managing, I saw a lot of resources that get hired that have communications as a background. So if you have a communications degree, you might want to look into our project manager role.
Yeah, education and although it's highly helpful if you understand the industry, Danielle, you don't necessarily have to have an extensive clinical research background, because working at the company, you're going to learn the industry and you're going to learn how these tools support the industry, and that's going to happen quite quickly within like your first year. Even if you come in and almost entirely green to the industry, just for the constant environment in which you're in, constantly interacting with researchers, understanding how our tools function and how they support clinical research, and just through the webinars and so forth that we have and all the internal education that we have, you really pick it up quite quickly. So I think anyone that has the interest in the field of clinical research in any aspect, be it financial, marketing, project management, any aspect, there are positions out there that we're trying to fill.
So with these positions, are these positions remote, or do you need to live like in where Greenphire is located?
It depends. So some of the roles can be considered a remote position and you can do it right from home. Or you have the opportunity to go into the office. I have been remote since the pandemic kicked off, but I live 45 minutes away from our headquarters. So even when I was driving in, it still wasn't that bad. 45 minutes isn't that bad of a commute to me. So depending on your location, I've seen roles switch to remote depending on the applicant as well. So if they see that you're a good fit, then they'll be accommodating and they'll change some of the details that are required in some of those pieces.
So we have a couple of comments in the chat. Yolanda said this was an awesome talk. I see Greenphire on many of the protocols that come through my IRB.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Golden said, are you in Europe?
Oh yeah, yep, we're there.
I'll say, I didn't know you guys had such a reach with the when you show the map, the global map and everything. So that is amazing that so many people can benefit from ClinCard. And I know for me, I'm just thinking back when I was I was part of the whole payment with Verily, and the process was pretty terrible. So it sounds like you guys have it down pat, because I know for me, if the participants lost their card, they lost their money. It wasn't so, just for you guys saying that, if you lose your card, your money is still available. But I know on that specific platform that was the case. And so I remember thinking like, that's not good. If they lose their card, then, so that's definitely good to hear. So let me see, are there any more questions? While we wait for more questions, I have another question. So what would you say is, what would you guys say was your wins this year with Greenphire?
From my perspective, it's that fair market value data piece that's been incorporated into Envisix. So that's the piece I am like, oh, I can't wait until the whole world sees it and starts to use it, because I feel the value internally already. So I am very excited about that. And I think that's a huge win. But Denean, Joe?
Just the growth within the products that we have to offer. COVID put it gave us a way to think outside of the box. So we had to come up with ways we developed an application called Patient Connex, where we could send cards directly to the patients as well as medication and things of that nature. We also changed our travel so that the patients could get to and from their appointments on time and things of that nature. It just really opened up our eyes on the way that our applications can be used in a better way. So we became more effective and we also had to collaborate as a team to get there. So even though, like Joe said, it did hinder our communication and working as a team like we did in the office, it kind of brought us together a little bit stronger in the sense that we knew we had to rely on each other to get through these hurdles that COVID was causing.
I think just this past year, a couple of the new technologies we've been able to roll out, the virtual card along with the app has been a game changer for us and for sites and our sponsors and so forth. We are in the process of developing more robust educational tools that are client facing. So our educational suite that's being built out is an advancement that's happened this year. I think also standardizing the approach to our help desk, the way the information can be submitted in a standardized way to really expedite, resolving any questions that a site may have was an innovation that happened this year as well. So despite being remote and so forth, we're still able to advance the technology while we did that this past year.
Thank you. We have a question in the chat. Rian, hopefully I said your name correct.
It's Ryan.
Ryan, okay, sorry. Ryan said, does Greenphire partner with a lot of private companies or more independent clinical research sites?
Take that, Jess, or?
Yeah, I don't know, Joe, do you have a good?
No, I mean, well, we obviously partner with Big Pharma, if you consider that private, and there's other private companies, private hospitals, private clinical research sites, et cetera. But in terms of building out our own tech, our own technology, our IT systems, that's all internal. We don't really farm that out at the moment. If you mean in terms of that IT partnership relationship, our programmers are internal to ourselves as far as developing our products. But as noted here in the presentation, we partner extensively with private industry. And future opportunities might relate to products like clinical trial management system, financial system interfaces as well, perhaps partnering for API interfaces and things like that, integrations of our tech with other technologies. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, answered my question. That was really good. I was curious about that since you guys started the conversation.
Sure.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you mind if I put you on the spot? What is your position currently in the industry?
So I actually am not currently working within clinical trials. I wanted to, but because of my lack of experience, I actually had an internship where I kind of worked on the financial side of internships. I worked with Swedish Hospital. So this is really interesting to me because when I was working at Swedish Hospital, it was very all paper oriented. And I just kept remember sitting there I wish this was a bit the process would be a little bit smoother, especially because it was a lot of paper, a lot of submitting documents and converting it to PDF files. So that way we could pay our clients and things like that. And it was dealing with a lot of multi-tier sites, but I actually was sent this conversation today by Jasmine Barnes, who's in Black women in clinical research, and she thought I would be interested in it, and I am, because I really do want to get back into clinical research, and I've just been trying to figure out where to land within that.
Well, Ryan, you are in the right spot. I about to say, I feel like you have landed where you are supposed to land. You have Joe, you have Denean, you have Jess, you have Amy. I am pretty positive that if you reach out to them and tell them exactly what you're interested in, they will definitely be able to help guide you. And any questions that you may have, definitely feel free to, reach out to the people, the speakers, and use them as a resource and see, maybe bounce some ideas. Maybe there might be a position for you.
Perfect. That would be lovely, because I was I really do love science, but I was I don't think going back to school for a science degree is for me. And I still like numbers, so I really am trying to see all my options.
Absolutely. I think this will be perfect for you.
Definitely.
Sure,
Thank
please reach
you.
out. Mhm.
Ryan, where are you located?
I just moved to New York City in July. I currently work kind of in the private equity space in a sense for a publishing company that publishes private equity information. So that's what I've been doing currently. And it's been more on the customer service side, but it's been very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that, like I had noted before, if there are any positions that really do fit that niche, our finance department is large, and we have been hiring there to support the team internally. But additionally, when roles open up, keep in mind that roles are easily switched to being remote. We do have 2 sales reps who live in New York City currently, so we have team members that are there. So just keep that in mind as well.
Awesome. That was actually going to be my next question, because I did see that a lot of things are still in Pennsylvania. So I just wanted to figure out that would be an option over time.
Yeah, of course. And it's always during that, you always have that first phone interview. And during that first phone interview, you just, make note that you'd love to be remote. And then that's how you kind of proceed through the remaining interviews. And it's just one of those like little things in the top right-hand corner, just Ryan would be a remote employee. And then they may, like I've noted, they may just immediately switch it because you've fit it perfectly. And why not have the opportunity to have someone like yourself be added to that role?
Perfect. I thought I would take myself off a video so you can see what I look like.
Oh, no problem.
But thank you so much. This was all very helpful, and I feel even more confident moving forward with the process of getting back into like clinical trials and whatnot.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm excited for you, Ryan.
Thank you.
There's a lot of chats coming around right now about LinkedIn. I certainly follow the folks on Black Women in Clinical Research on LinkedIn. So, likewise, if you want to follow us with our activities, we do a lot of thought leadership activities within the industry as well. So I would recommend that. I'm sure Danielle has done extensive discussions around the importance of networking, the importance of using LinkedIn. It's critical. So wherever possible, reach out to us and connect with us.
Absolutely. Jeremy, my fiance, says Amy is a great asset and extremely kind.
I couldn't agree more.
Can't argue.
I'm about to say Amy is getting those cupcakes right now. Okay, let's see. I think that is pretty much it for the comments. Does anyone have any more questions? Okay, Jaleesa says she agrees. She loves working with Amy. Yes, cupcakes secured. Yes. So, does anyone have any final thoughts before we end?
No, just again, thank you for giving us this opportunity. Hopefully we can make some more friends and colleagues through LinkedIn and otherwise, and through your activities, the webinars that you hold, Danielle. We want to continue to collaborate with your membership. So we really appreciate this ongoing relationship. This has been great.
Absolutely. I always say that, especially with LinkedIn and connecting with people, you guys are like my extended family that I have never met before, but I definitely am appreciative for the connections that we have made, especially, when we first met. Joe, I'm just telling everyone, Joe has so much resources. It's like he's a wealth of knowledge. And when I first met him, he started connecting me with so many different people. Like, have you connected with this person over here? Do you know Danielle? And so, just if you are interested and you want, someone to, push you and motivate you, Joe definitely will do that and connect you with different people, like whatever you're interested in. So I know that everyone is extremely helpful, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Please feel free to drop your LinkedIn URL. I know a lot of us have already dropped it in the chat, but yes, let's stay connected, and that's it. Have a good night, everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.